Hello and welcome to the Path of Least Resistance. I'm Versailles. Today we're going to go over how I would do monthly challenges if I didn't have a full roster of everything. And we're going over this because I need to start doing monthly challenges when I don't have a full roster of everything, because they're starting to require specific champions, which means I'm going to need to level up probably every champion on my alt account, which means I need access to wild fragments and platinum vaults just to get shards. And so this is something that I've been thinking of that I just need to start doing. I don't particularly like monthly challenges, so doing them twice is not something that I'm really looking forward to. And also, my alt account doesn't have the same setup that I have on my main account, which of course has everything at least level 30 and 3 stars. So I have to take a different approach when I do this. While we're here, let's just talk about the Glory Store a little bit. What's important. So, I am in a unique situation where I do not care about epic relics because this account exists only to do 3-star no epic relic videos, so I never need to look at this. The rest of you probably want your epic relics, and the ones I would suggest are Starforged Gauntlets, Perfect Hex Core, Swain's Raven Army, and depending, Shock and Awe. Yeah, I think those are the main ones that are really good, and so you want probably at least 2400 glory sitting around to pick those up. There are others that have, different uses and whatnot, but those are the main ones. Other things I would buy are the Regional Gold Star Vessel, because this is your main source of Nova Shards. So if we look here, you get 20 Nova Shards guaranteed. You can get up to a Nova Crystal. So this is, I think, a really strong buy. And then, of course, Aurelian Soul Fragments, assuming you don't already have Aurelian Soul maxed out. You want to do that. I don't super care about the Regional Minor Gemstone Vessels. That would probably be, like, later on my list. If you're missing a bunch of relics, you're going to want Silver Reliquaries. If you have all your relics, you don't need to bother. And you can also get your Platinum Vaults. This is your best source of fragments for champions, so if you're a newer account, this is where you're going to want it. Cosmic Blessings are nice for leveling. They do cost a few glories, so up to you if you want to spend it or not. And Stardust I would probably mostly avoid, unless you need it to purchase a Golden Reliquary, in which case, buy away, but you get like a ton of Stardust just from doing things normally, so I don't think that's like a primary concern. But I don't know your situation. You might need to buy Stardust. It's not that expensive anyway. So it is important to always buy your Golden Reliquaries so that you can get your epic relics, the free ones. So yeah, do that. But because Glory is now basically in monthly challenges, so you get the challenge XP, which turns into Glory. That is a thing that you probably need to do in order to max out the Glory Road. I think you need to do all 70, and then you also need to do your weeklies every week, your weekly nightmares. Yeah. But if you are a newer account, you might just want to stop at like 60 instead, and then you'll miss out on like 60 glory, maybe 120 glory. Obviously that's not ideal, but if you don't have the roster to do it, that's unfortunately where you're going to have to be. So we're going to go over what I would do on an account that isn't quite as well established as my main account. So the first thing I do is decide how many glories I'm going to get, how many challenges I'm going to complete. So basically, I'm thinking 60 is probably where my account is at. I could probably push for 70. Like I said, I'm in a situation where I don't necessarily need the glory because I'm not buying the epic relics. If you're not buying the epic relics, you have plenty of glory. But 60 seems, I think, about where my account is going to be at, where I can pull off 60 wins probably fairly reliably, and that way I won't have to risk using better champions than the later ones. I can use them earlier, and then that'll save me some tries. What I would actually like for Legends of Runeterra to do is make it so that if you lose, you don't lose a try. But, you know, they're probably not going to do that. So anyway, so the first thing we do is we decide how many challenges we're going to do. And I've decided that we're going to do 60. So that means we need at least 20 champions to do that. I have 34, but many of them are not 3-star. So like once we get here, we're at 2 stars already. And then we have a bunch of them at 1 star and level 1. So these are probably not going to get a lot of usage out of us because they're just not going to be helpful at all. So next thing we do is, now that we've decided that we're going to go to 60, we decide what champions we can use to beat probably any challenge. And so number 1 is Jinx. That'll do 3 challenges for us. Number 2 is Yasuo. I'm very unlikely to lose with Yasuo. 3 is Ambessa. Probably won't lose with her either. 4 is Jhin. 5 is Morgana. 6 is Viego. I'm a little less sure on how good I am with Viego. So, you know, we're going to put that in like a second category. LeBlanc, I'm going to win for sure. So, actually, let's change that around a little bit. You can't see what I'm doing, and I should fix that. Alright, hopefully that's coming through, and it's readable. I can't really tell. So, these are definitely going to win, probably. I have lost with my good champions before, so there's always a chance you'll lose. And then this is going to be like 3 stars that I'll probably win with. And we'll separate this out. So we have like Viego here, Heimerdinger. Well, let's do champions I'm not comfortable with. And we'll put Heimerdinger here. Right. So this is kind of how we want to break it up. And so let's go back up to the top. I'll probably win with Ashe. And then Volibear is also a probably win. We can also set him in situations where he's more likely to win. And that's what we're going to need to do with all of these. So we're going to start with the champions we're less comfortable with and then work our way up and then fill in those requirements. And as we're filling in those requirements, if we feel like we filled in enough of those requirements, then we can potentially start expanding and deciding that we could try for 70 wins instead of 60. So that's kind of the process. So I'll probably win with Spirit Blossom Teemo. I've played a lot of him. I'm not super comfortable with Vex, but Vex is pretty good. I don't expect to lose. Aatrox, I'm going to want to use early because I am just not feeling that good. Garen, I'll probably win with as long as I don't put him up against something that recalls, which I've done before and lost. Warwick, I don't know. Is a probably win. So we're up to 6, 12, 15. Kai'Sa, I'm not super comfortable with, but she's pretty good, so she'll probably win. Fiddlesticks. If I had Echoing Spirit, then I would say that I would win, but we're going to put him in probably. Needly, I'm really comfortable with, so we'll put her up there. And then Nasus, I am pretty uncomfortable with. And Anivia is only level 22, so not super comfortable there either. And Evelynn, so champion for specific modifier. I believe there's a few of the 4-mana gem one, so that's going to be Evelynn. And then we have champions that are not leveled. So you're going to want to use these for your early game, and that's going to be your Misfortune, your Swain, Alawi. So we have 7 of these, we have 7 of these, we have 6 of these. This is 20. And then, so 1. Let's remove that. And then we have our misfortune. 3-star, but not leveled. 3-star. Not leveled. So you have your misfortune, your Swain, your Alawi, your Lee Sin, your Akshan, your Mel, Mordekaiser, and what we're going to do with these is throw them at the wall and hope they win. And then we have things that aren't 3-star, not 3-star. So Aurelian Soul, which I should actually just move that up. I'll probably win with that. Probably win. Aurelian Soul goes there. We have Ari at not 3-star. Ari is much worse at not 3-star. Like incredibly worse. We have Lux. We have Vi, who is barely leveled at all. And then anything under that, we're just going to call I probably am not even going to try to play. Right? So these are things that we could potentially throw. Like this, these aren't startup at all. Right? But we could potentially see if we, at some point, got extra relics or extra shards for them to see if we could level them up. So can I afford the 2-star? No, so we're probably just not using Nora. That's just like not a thing we're going to do. Or if we do, we're going to use it on like one of the very early adventures. Same with Darius here. For a constellation, we could buy his 1-star, but that's as far as we can go. And so these are unlikely to be things that we're playing. Annie, we could get to 2 stars, but, you know, still not very good. Caitlyn is close to having enough to 3-star, so we could potentially invest in her, but then we do want to level her as well before we play her into adventures. So, you know, maybe not the best of choices. And then, yeah, I guess we have enough to 3-star Gwen, but we, again, would have to level. And that's a thing that, you know, if you're starting early, you might want to do. Our Lux Illuminated is also a very good option, but we'd have to level. Same deal there. So that's kind of what we're working with here. Victor could be leveled. Bane, Yumi. Yumi might be worth leveling because of reasons. Small stuff, there's a bunch of them. We have a ton of Spirit Blossom Yasuo, a ton of Spirit Blossom Evelynn, Spirit Blossom Master Yi, but I am unlikely to take the time to level them. Although if it's your only account, you probably should because it's helpful. And Master Yi is something that we might want to consider for a lot of adventures. And so like champions for specific modifiers, Master Yi fits in really well to any of the repetition or I forget what it's called, the cost reduction adventure. So that's kind of something that I might consider leveling up, or I might consider trying to... Natural magic is what it's called. Might consider just throwing, even though he's level 1 anyway, and investing the 200 wild fragments, or the 20 wild fragments that I would need to finish leveling him to 3. And then maybe I just try him at level 1, see if he works into natural magic. Nami is something that I would like, but I'm not going to toss 90 wild fragments into, because I have a 3-star Nami on my main account, and I don't need her for videos, and that's a lot of wild fragments when I don't have many, and I might need it for something else later. So, like I said, I'm in a unique position where things are just a little complicated on deciding what I need to do, but also because of that, I need less glory than other people do. I also need less fragments than other people do, because, you know, I only go to 3 stars. So, that is kind of what I'm thinking. And then, so when we start, we're going to, we have these 20 champions that I'm pretty sure I'm going to win with, which means if we could get like 10 wins with other champions, then potentially we could go all the way to 70. But, you know, that's not always possible. And it does change where you place your champion. So if I want to use Jinx on every small stuff, but there's 4 small stuff, then like if I don't do the small stuff at like 69, then I have it for earlier. And I could use it on the small stuff at 51 and not feel bad, and 48 and not feel bad. So that's kind of, yeah, how I think about it, how I break it down. And then, just go through and, like, see if it works. Like, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's fine. You do your best, and you get what you get. So, yeah, that is all I wanted to say. I'm going to do some games now, and hopefully that wasn't too rambly. But I'm going to do some games and kind of show... Did Challenge 1 already? So I used Challenge 1 with level 7 Mordekaiser. And I won, so, great. You also don't want to do things under level 7 because of or actually level 8's probably ideal. At level 8 you could give yourself an epic relic, and that relic could be Guardian Angel. 7 gives you the revive though, which means that if you lose, you get to try again, and that is really useful when you're just using underpowered champions. So, think about that. I would probably level everything to 7 that I'm actually trying to use. So for example, my Vi is level 9. I think this is a result of that exact scenario. So we have Jin next. Mordekaiser is a 3-star. And he a 3-star that's not leveled that I'm uncomfortable with. So we're just going to toss him in here and kind of see how it goes. Obviously level 7 you're missing a lot of your champion upgrades, which does matter a lot. I'm going to take Scion here because the Reborn Grenadier can just autoplay, but Roar of the Slayer gets rid of a unit, which can be super helpful. Mechanized Mimic, we're unlikely to take anything. We also can't afford these champions, which sad. Evil Imperfectionist with Mana Deposit creates a card. Probably not that bad. And those are kind of the things that you want to consider when you're doing these low-level adventures. So we'll take Double Time Watch here, and we'll go into Jin. And I'm going to be less explanatory here than I would normally be because, I don't know. Oh, I should get rid of the notepad. You don't need to see that anymore. So yeah, we need to reroll everything. Sometimes I forget when I'm playing a low level that I don't start with my champion in hand, and that is a bad thing to forget. Now we're going to go ahead and drop, because we have mana. We could put Deathless on him. This is a game start though, so it's not going to refill, so I might want to hold that mana for later. And the Deathless will reduce in cost anyway, so it's not that big of a loss. Here we need a way to kill the Boom Crew rookie, and our unit on board can already do that, so we're free to play another card. They're unlikely to attack, and then we can use that Deathless. We could have also used Roar of the Slayer, but I think something probably more important will show up later to get rid of. Jump Lord Malot, and we attack. We are going to trade out our unit here, but he has Deathless, so he'll come back anyway, not a big deal. And it looks like we're going to lose him again, and we're going to just have to be fine with that. Even if we gave him Deathless, it wouldn't save him. And we're going to Vile Feast here to get rid of their unit, to make it so that our Roar of the Slayer is still functional. They attack, we block. Drop Mordekaiser, kill our units to revive them. Lose a unit. Could have kept it alive, actually. Roar of the Slayer here. And this attack, not quite winning. So we want to do a little bit more.
The artist, the stage, the actor, the grave.
Have a coughing attack. And then attack and hopefully win the game. Unfortunately, they do heal from 1 here. Could have used Deathless there, it would have been fine. now we will get Realm of Death. I think I'll just dodge it though. Probably still worth doing. Yep, and we win. So that is a win that we no longer have to do with one of our better champions, which means we moved up another slot. So now instead of going to 60, we can go to 62. Right? And that's kind of how I play the game at lower level. There's a lot more thinking involved in what you're doing, unfortunately. But, yeah, that is the goal. Just get as many wins in as you can with your lower level units. You know, don't be afraid to burn them, even if they lose. Not really a big deal. Like this one, we have Unflinching Strength. We could potentially throw Darius at that. Actually, Mordekaiser is also Noxus. So let's just go ahead and do that again. But yeah, you need to take more advantage of the things available to you, where normally I don't do that too well, because I expect my champions to just be strong enough to clear everything anyway. So I'm going to take Atrocity. I think it's a great finisher. And I don't mind having Chronicler of Ruin in my opening hand, because we're not drawing our champion anyway. It doesn't really matter as much that we're diluting our pool, as long as we are taking decent cards. And this time we don't have cost reduction anyway, so like, it might not even be worth starting with Mordekaiser in hand, because it could be a long time before we get to him. And I think I'm just going to attack here. I didn't have the mana for Deathless. I did because of the Noxian discount, but then when I played the card I lost it, and I didn't notice.
Stand aside or be cut down.
And then they'll probably play Jhin here, would be my guess. Get Lord Malott down. And if you attack with more things, he'll make Blade's Edge, and I'm not sure I want to get hit with those Blade's Edges. Like, if they block the 2 into the 2, that would be bad. And we're going to Deathless here. And now we have Challenger to get rid of their Jhin. Except that we're going to die here. Unfortunate. Let's go ahead and Death's Grasp. And we could try to revive. Might work, might not. Nope, we got the spider. And we can play Mordekaiser now, killing 2 units. They've weirdly been afraid of dropping their Jhin. And they have 2 mana, so they're gonna kill our Spiderling, but that's fine. I would rather keep that guy alive, I guess. He's gonna die again, but it's fine.
I will have revenge. The stage is set.
And we'll Chronicler of Ruin here.
What matters the maker if not her divine work?
I promise it will be immortalized in our performance. Sure about that? Take your place, and I'll show
Take a nice block, removing their units. We level up. And obviously this game is done. We still have to do Tom Kench after. But idea is just to do, you know, as much as you can with the least amount possible, so that you can save your better champions for the harder adventures, so that you can push a little bit further. And yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. So hopefully this helps. I'm not gonna keep going on and recording these, but I'll maybe, at least I'm not gonna talk over them. Monthlies take so much out of me to do, and I already did it once this month, and it's almost the next month, so I don't particularly want to do it again. At least not in the full way, but I'll post what I do on the second channel, and then if you want to watch that, you know, feel free. And if you don't want to watch it, that's totally fine. Monthlies are actually my least viewed videos, so it's helpful for the people that need them. Most people don't care about them. But also talking just makes me play worse, and that's not really a thing that I can do if I want to get through these, because I'm just, you know, working with less. But a lot of people have less to work with, and they need to know how to do that too. So, he's indestructible here. Also note, I haven't touched the spreadsheet yet. I'm not going to do that until I've gone through all of my lower power champions, because that'll give me a better idea of what I need to do, and there's no point in putting like, I'm going to use Mordekaiser 3 times here, if I'm going to end up losing with Mordekaiser and then I'm going to have to redo the entire spreadsheet. So, yeah, that's just not a thing I'm going to do until I have a better understanding of where I want to be. Or of where I am, I guess. I know where I want to be, which is, you know, 70. But that's not where we're at. With Mordekaiser on board, we've basically won this game. I'm gonna miss call here. This round we attack with everything. And we can kill our Lilia to do a little bit of damage so that our Overwhelm does more. And then we can finish off by Atrocity at the Nexus. I was a little afraid there that the Atrocity didn't finish. Anyway, this is what I would do for my, you know, lower power, smaller roster. As I said, we'll bring back the notepad. I only have 20 champions that I'm comfortable with, well, not comfortable with, that are leveled in 3 stars, and I only have 14 of those that I'm comfortable with. So I'm guaranteed to win, probably, not guaranteed, but I will probably win 42 challenges, no matter what those challenges are. I can rearrange these guys in orders to, you know, put them where they would do the most. And then I have these 6 champions that I'm less comfortable with, maybe a little less leveled, maybe I'm a little less experienced with them, so those will cover certain slots as well, but you know, we're not sure that we're going to win. But like if we do, then, and we get towards the end, you know, maybe we can push towards 70 by using these champions. Your biggest risk is going to be like if you play a champion that is good into a modifier and then you lose, then, you know, that's one less adventure that you're going to be able to complete because just not having the same roster size. Anyway, that is all for me. Like I said, I'll post some stuff to the second channel so that you guys can watch that if you want to. You don't have to. I am not encouraging anyone to ever look at the second channel. But if that's the thing you want to do, it exists and you can do that. Anyway, that is all for me. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this helps at least give you an idea of how I organize in my brain on what I'm going to do. And, you know, there's no shame in only going to 50 or only going to 60, or even going to 40 or 30 if, like, it's your first month playing and you just need to do some monthly challenges. And, you know, don't be afraid to toss your level 7 Mordekaiser at something. Don't be afraid to toss your level 1 Darius at something. If you don't use it, it's the same as if you lost with it, is kind of my mentality going into here. I probably wouldn't use Darius into this. Also, there's a thing where you can do, so if you were to like complete the 6th challenge, you can just move on to 7, 8, and 9. So let's say 11 is hard. So 11 is this Aurelia with Spell Shield and Scout. You can just skip 11 just don't do it, you know? Move on. Just do the 12, and then that'll let you do 13, 14, and 15, and then that 11 can just sit there. I might do that and come back to it later. Anyway, yeah, that's the video. Hope it helps. I wish that we could de-star champions so that I could just do everything at 3 stars and no epic relics on the monthly videos instead of, you know, I have a lot of 6 stars and you might watch that and be like, well, how am I supposed to do that without a 6 star? And yeah, good point. But, you know, you need too many champions and I don't have that many 3 star anymore. And the 3 stars I have, I don't want to use because they're not good counters for those situations. So, yeah, I don't know. I've been rambling long enough. See you later. Goodbye.